I'm Mia, and today I'm going to try to attempt a Painted by Esther look. But yeah, Painted by Esther, her looks have been going like really viral on TikTok right now. I've been following her for maybe a year at this point, but she does these super beautifully over blush and like ethereal and glittery and just beautiful looks. And I would like to preface this by saying a majority of her clients are black women, and so a majority of the people recreating these looks are black women, and I'm not trying to take that moment away from them. I just find these looks so beautiful, and over blushing is my thing, and these are just perfect and beautiful. And again, I'm not trying to take anybody's moment away from them. This is something that's also been on my recreation list for a while. So, but yeah, I'm going to be attempting this look right here. I have already pre-cut up some lashes because I do want to attempt like the little bottom lashes. But yeah, let's get into it. Now, the only bad thing is about doing this is that it seems that she does base first for a lot of looks. And with the look that I chose, there's a winged out liner that goes over the blush a little. So we're gonna have to do that, and I don't like doing my base first. I don't know why, it's just a thing, but it's not my ideal order. But yeah, so for skin prep, I'm gonna go in with my Watermelon Glow Niacinamide Dewdrops from Glow Recipe. I think this is just about the last of the bottle because it's been on its last leg anyways, and I can't really see much in the bottle anymore. But even though the picture is words, like the base looks matte, obviously I can put a powder on, and especially I feel like creams sit better over a glowy base, but then I can set my face to be matte and go over with more powders. Also, the amount of blush I'm going to be using is insane. I already have like everything set up aside. I was going to say set up. Everything's set aside, and there's a lot of products. I'm gonna be real with you here. Alright, and then I'm gonna go in with the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Glow Serum in the shade Main Squeeze. But I've had a very interesting few days, to say the least. So I went to go see The Wiz on Saturday after work with my mother, because sometimes theater is just one of those things where like, oh hey, there's okay price tickets for seats, so we'll go if we have the time. Last thing we saw was Anne Juliet, but that was in November, and keep in mind, it's August. But we got orchestra tickets. This is the Haus Labs Trichlone Skin Tech Foundation in the shade 070 Fair Neutral. It's a little peacher, so hopefully that will help blend things a little better. Not blend, but like, I don't know. Lady comes in, and she has such a big hat. Like, I don't know what makes you think that it is a good idea to wear a hat to the theater where there are people behind you. And like, it was a tall hat. It was at least like 4 or 5 inches taller than her head was. So I had to do the very brave thing and ask her to take it off, because the music was starting for the signaling that the show was going to start like any second, and she still had it on. So I had to, and like, she was being so huffy about it for the rest of the performance. I'm like, lady, there are people behind you. I am 5'3" on a relatively good day. I could barely see over her without the hat. And the seats next to us were booked, wild concept, so I couldn't be like, oh, I'll just like sneak over to that seat once the show starts and they don't let any more people in. No. So I had to like, oh, you, and like, she was being huffy about it the rest of the time. I'm like, lady, you came in wearing a hat to a show. This is just not how this works. And like, it wasn't even like a fancy like, oh my god, we're gonna go see a play, we're gonna wear nice clothes. No, it was like, it's the kind of hat that you'd take. It's the kind of hat that you would wear to take photos in an apple orchard and not actually pick any apples. It was like an Instagram hat, and I'm like, lady. And then in the videos I've noticed she does a lot more concealer than I usually do, so we're gonna hope and pray on this. This is from Kulfi. This is the Main Match Concealer in the shade Fudge Notch. but like it's a lot of concealer. And like I feel like I shouldn't put this much on because the blush, but like I made sure to watch a few videos before I started this, obviously, because I like to be in depth about these things, and it's like, ow, ow. And then, ironically, the same night, my father decided that he was going to take my brother up to New Hampshire so he could see his father and his sister. My father's father and my father's sister, of course, because apparently she's coming from New York to visit, which I didn't know about, so I'm like, okay. Now I look like an asshole who's not coming. And when I got home from my nail appointment yesterday, he handed me a wad of cash. Because apparently my grandfather sold my grandmother's car. It was like a hot rod, so like it was like a nice car. And he decided that all of the grandchildren are gonna get a specific amount of money. I'm like, oh, I'm like, including the 1-year-old and maybe the 3-year-old? Like I know it makes sense to like be even about it, but I'm like, that is I'm like, those children aren't seeing that money for another, 15 years at least. But hey, I'm not complaining. Now I'm unspecified amount of money richer. I'm not saying these words on YouTube. I'm not letting you all know how much I got. But I went down to Target today. I know, Target's evil, but it's the closest place that has an ATM for my bank. So I went down to deposit. I deposited half of it in cash. I'm keeping the other half in cash for now. And if I can forget about it, or just not spend it, I'm gonna deposit the other half of it before I go on a trip. Big brain. Okay, this amount of concealer is looking really nice, actually. And I noticed in the videos that she tends to use a much warmer toned bronzer than I prefer. But we're being real with this. I'm gonna put some right here to kind of help. And then I'm gonna put it here and bring it a little more than I usually would. Again, this just isn't usually my preference, because again, I'm pale, so bronzers tend to look a little more warm toned on me anyways. Oh, I'm sorry. This is the Persona Bronze Multi-Stick in the shade Dune, not Mojave, because again, this needs to be warmer. And I'm also going to go in with the Morphe Shapelifter Micro Contour Stick in the shade Enhanced, just to do my nose. Because there's no way I'm doing like an actual bronzer for like nose contour. But also, when I was at Target, I got an impromptu flu shot. So it's nice to know that my insurance is active, because I'm on my parents' plan, except they said they're on Mass Health, and my brother's also on Mass Health because he's a minor, but I don't have a Mass Health card, and I'm also not paying for insurance, so I didn't know what was going on, but I have insurance. I got a flu shot. I already took the bandage off because it was starting to just annoy me. Start to blend out. I'm using a smaller brush for like the eye socket and nose. But if you think about it, I technically cost Target money today. Because like I said, I got a flu shot, which was free, and I deposited money, which made me money. And then I went next door to Stop and Shop to get all my snacks and food that I need. So yay me. I mean, I wandered around for a little bit just because I can only spend so long in Stop and Shop, and then I can look at other things that I might want to get at other places. Big brain. And then I'm going to blend out the cheek with a bigger brush. Like I said, this is just considerably warmer than I usually use, but I'm also going to be putting in like orange coral blush up here, so I guess it blends in together. But then just do. But I also didn't do my usual shenanigans today because my parents and 2 of their former employees decided we're gonna go for a beach day. I would also like it to be known that it is 70 degrees today. To be fair, they had the idea for a beach day like weeks ago. Yeah, it is 70 degrees. I wore long pants. It was a beautiful, beautiful sight. I have the fans off. I have my fan. Like, we have fans downstairs, like on the ceiling, and I have a fan in my room, like an oscillating fan. All of those are off. The windows are open. There was a nice little sea breeze happening. I'm loving life right now, because I am tired of this hot weather nonsense. I'm tired of shorts. I'm tired of shaving. And as my friend said, you know, you don't need to shave, feminism. I'm like, my leg hair is considerably darker than my skin tone. It's gonna be noticeable. Derogatory. Alright. And this is where it starts to go a little wild. Because again, remember, this is the photo that I am recreating. Well, this is the look I'm recreating. There's an orange blush here, and then it gradients to like a regular mid-tone pink, and then a little paler. So I need at least 3 cream blushes. At least. The amount of blush I'm going to be typing out in a few days is going to be insane. This is from MAC. This is their, oh god, what is this? Strobe Beam Liquid Blush in the shade Apricot Jelly. This was gifted to me via Skeepers. I kind of forgot I owned it. And I found it hidden away in a pile, and I went. But I'm going to focus that like way back here, almost. But oh. So the shuttles for the blue line finally ended, thank God. But in true shuttles finished, maintenance work finished, now there have been delays all day. So I'm really kind of glad I didn't go to Ultra like I wanted to, because like there are delays like all morning of like 15 to 25 minutes, and I'm like, no. And I just got an alert that there's more delays. So, but I'm gonna blend this out first, because I can always just go back in with more blushes. Wild, I know. I'm gonna bring it under the eye just a little, because I'm definitely gonna need to go in with more for this, at least because this is a bit not very sheer, but it's more sheer than I would prefer. But that color is gorgeous. And then I'm gonna go in with the Patrick Ta Double Take Blush Duo in the shade She's That Girl. This is a Rare Beauty brush. I don't love it, but I don't want to be overlapping. Not overlapping. I don't want to use the same brush for multiple blushes and then it just mixes together and doesn't go well. So definitely bringing this under the eye. Like I said, I really don't like this brush itself, but c'est la vie again, right under the eye. That is not looking very pink. And then I'm also going to take a little bit of the Huda Beauty blush filter in the shade Bubblegum. That way I can get that pale, like, baby pink thing happening. Again, different brush because I don't want... Keeping this right up under my eye because I do love how that looks generally, and this is just gonna help. I'm definitely gonna need to do more concealer to even this out a little because I want to make sure that there's space for like brightening powder and stuff. Alright, and then I'm gonna go in with a layer of each, another layer or two of each color, and I'm definitely going ham on that MAC blush because I need it to be seen that there's some orange here. That may have been a little too ham, but my point still stands. Oh, and so I had to stay late at work again on Friday, and when the girl who came in, she texted the manager like, hey, you know, blah blah, and she's like, oh, it's fine, Mia had to stay until 5 so I could, when I got in. She's like, oh, it's okay, Mia's schedule is more flexible. I'm like, just because my schedule is more flexible doesn't mean that I want to be inconvenienced once or twice a week and have to stay an hour and 15 minutes each time. Girl, I'm like, I'm like, yes, I'm gonna stay because I have to. And my mother's like, you don't have to. Leave. I'm like, why? And get written up. She's like, what are they gonna do? Write you up for leaving when you're scheduled? I'm like, you're right, but I don't want to play those games. I've never been written up before, ever, at any job. And I don't want to start now. And then I took some of the Kulfi concealer on the back of my hand and I'm just gonna work it into my brush and lightly brighten up the center of my face just a little bit, because again, I will be putting what are the words? Brightening powder, so I want there to be at least space to make it look a little more pink. And again, keep this in mind that I am also adjusting this slightly for how my face shape is and how I usually do blush. But now we are 100% going to set the face because again, we are going to layer more blush. I know. Like I said, this is going to be a lot of blush. This is from Amicole. This is the Skin Melt Loose Powder in the shade Translucent. I have some in the cap. And I'm just going to work it into a very large set-in brush. And I'm just going to set everywhere because, I want that very smooth, like airbrush quality skin. And this can definitely do that. And again, I also want a powdered base, so the powdered blushes that I go in with will stick better. You know what? Ow. I also trimmed my bangs earlier, and now they're refusing to cooperate, even though they're not. I trimmed them, they're not considerably shorter because I don't want to mess with that. I did that the last time by accident and it did not end well. Right. Now on a dense brush, I'm taking the Haus Labs Color Fuse blush in the shade Pomelo Peach because I don't have a super orange blush. I'm just going to place that right over where that MAC blush was and hope for the best. Like really hope for the best. It's so mean that there's not any blush on the nose because I love that so much. But alas, alas. And then I'm going to take the NYX Buttermelt blush in the shade Butter Together. And I'm just going to load up a fluffy brush because I want to like sweep this right under here. Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I'm going in with hella pink powder after this, so hope and pray. Jesus Christ, I look stupid. Back to my, this is going to look considerably different on me because I am a considerably different skin tone, so it's not going to meld as well together. I can blend out, everything's fine. So I'm actually going to take my very discontinued, very expired correcting powder from Jaclyn Cosmetics, and there's something in my eye. And I'm going to load it out on a powder puff, and I usually do it on a brush. Figured that will help blend out. Oh god, this could all end very badly, and I apologize. I mean, I don't know why I'm apologizing to you, this is on my face. Just gonna blend that out. I'm using a little more force than I usually would, but I don't want any weird casts. Oh! I don't feel so stupid anymore. Maybe a brightening powder is really all I needed. I don't feel so stupid. But I am going to have to bronze up my nose a little more. This is from One Size. This is the Made for Shade Bronze and Sculpt Trio. This is the fair one, because I'm fair. I'm going to take the shade Made for Shade, even though this is a little warmer tone, so I don't know why it would be shade. But I'm going to re-bronze the nose a little. Just a little. Nothing too wild or crazy. Again, bring it just into the socket a little. Kind of reinforce some of the bronzer under here. And unfortunately, I couldn't tell if there's any on the cheeks, but she does use highlighter on the nose. This is from Fenty. This is the Demi Glow Light Diffusing Highlighter in the shade Pretty Pearls. This is like my pretty, not beige, but like skin tone kinda gold highlighter, so this will work best for this purpose. But definitely gonna bring it up the nose in like a little teardrop shape almost. And then I'm also gonna bring it straight down the nose, up on the bridge. And I'm also gonna do a little on the Cupid's bow. I really should have shaved before this. Oops. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Alright, so for eyes, I'm gonna go in with the Lunar Beauty Nude Prism palette. And I'm gonna take some Vibes on a very fluffy brush. And I'm kind of just gonna throw that all across here. I'm gonna make sure it's blended out all the way, that way I can kind of diffuse into my foundation and blush a little. But repeat on the other eye, making sure to connect it with that bronzer that was already in the eye socket. And again, just do on the same brush. I don't really care today. I'm going to take a little bit of milk tea and a little bit of tease just to turn it into a slightly more cool toned, just so I can get a little like definition. But no, it's also going to be my brother's birthday on Wednesday. I'm going to be at work, he doesn't care. But there's some marine thing happening in Boston. I don't know if it's all week, but it's happening at least on Wednesday, so he's probably going to go with a few of his friends, and he's like, maybe I'll come bother you for like cookies and ice cream and stuff. I'm like, you know what? I'm like, you that bastard. I'm like, fine, but like, I'm not gonna be happy about it. And then on a fluffy brush, I'm taking some of Bare just so I can brighten up that eyelid space again. Just a little. Because again, I don't want to like do a real cut crease, obviously, but a powder will do the job. It's not that serious. Let's be real with ourselves here. But what is serious is that there's like a little winged out thing and a little on like the inner corner. So I'm taking a very thin flat brush and the shade Deeper, which is black. Who would have thought? Start by lining my upper inner corner. I don't know if I'm going to bring it in all the way because I will be putting on lashes obviously. But I'm at least doing this now. I'm going to put it on the edge here because that will also make my lashes appear a little fuller. And again here, very carefully because I don't want it winged out, I just want it back there for like fake volume. So I actually have an even thinner angled brush that I got off of Temu 2-ish years ago maybe. I only got brushes and like supplies. Like I got a little palette, I got one of those palette, not knives, but the spatulas. I didn't buy any makeup off there. But I'm gonna very carefully start it here and flick out. I've never really done this before, I'm gonna be honest here. I don't usually, I just feel like it looks weird on my eye shape. Sorry for not talking a lot at this part, it's a little scary. Alright, and then with the same brush that I used my highlighter on, I'm going to take a little bit of So Icy and a little bit of Your Golden, and I'm going to put it kind of like right here. Right, yeah, like right there, and a little under the eye. I'm going to flick it out a little because it's not going to cover the lid, but I want it up and over a little because that's how I generally like to do my like inner corner shadow when I do it. And again, need to adjust this for my face and face shape. Alright, I need to go put on some lashes. Like I said, I pre-cut up some of these like mango lashes I had, and I'm gonna use these ones for the under eye lashes, and then I'm just gonna use regular lashes. But I will be back in a second. I don't know why I did that. Alright, I'm back with some lashes. That took forever and they feel so weird. And I also did touch up my blush a little, and I think it's looking considerably better. And I feel like my skin looks like a filter right now, like especially this part. I am so smooth and just like... But it's time for lips. I'm gonna go in with 2 lip liners. I know, this is kind of excessive. This is from MAC. This is their lip liner in the shade Cool Spice. I gotta kiss off whatever lip balm I had. And I'm gonna... Ironically enough, I'm not gonna use this to sculpt the lips today. Just because... it's not super cool toned on me. So, I'm actually gonna use a warmer toned color to like kinda overline. I have a plan. But that for the initial. And I finally broke open into my new one. This is from Makeup Forever. This is the Artist Color Pencil in the shade Anywhere Caffeine. Like I said, this is the full size, not the full size, but my other one was so small that I couldn't sharpen it and put the cap on, so we have the big one now. Well, normal sized one. New. But I'm going to use this color to overline and just bring a little more warmth into the lips, because I didn't want to overwhelm it. I'm just going to blend out because only a clear gloss is going on top, so I don't want those weird harsh lines. And then I'm going to go in with the Milani Fruit Fetish lip oil. This is the Strawberry Melon one. So there's like the tiniest hint of color. But I want to kind of tie the lip color into the cheeks a little more. And this is just a very shiny and glossy product. So I do in fact need a gloss for this look. So I need to go deal with my bangs. I did wash them earlier, so it should be a little easier. But I will see you in a second. Alright, and this is the finished look. I look so good. Not to like toot my own horn or anything, but like, I look like a filter. My friend, and I quote, "It looks so smooth and you look like a doll." So, hearts. Whatever the kids do. I am not hip with the youth. I'm not loving the bottom lashes, but that's just because I've never done it before, and I feel like it just looks off, and it feels like I'm gonna blink these off in like 5 seconds. But I'm looking airbrushed. This is looking nice. But yeah, this is my attempt at the Painted by Esther trend that's going around.